My microphone is on.
Yeah.
Got it.
Concert. I'll listen.
So will I be able to hear public participation up here? Okay. Got it.
All right. So.
Sure.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this evening's Town Council public hearing to order at 7 p.m. I get to use a gavel. We're in person finally. All right. This evening, we will be having our public hearing on the voting district changes that are proposed by our registrars of voters. And we will be allowing public participation. Public participation is allowed for 3 minutes for each person. We will begin the meeting with a presentation by our registrars of voters. So I would invite Ms. Avey and Ms. Fox up. We don't usually do a pledge during public hearing, do we? Okay. It's not, we don't have the agenda, so I will go ahead and do a pledge first. Thank you. It's always a good way to start a meeting. That real flag is. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I would just say to everyone who's watching to please bear with us. We are learning how to do a hybrid model. So we are in person in our chamber. We also have some folks attending through the Zoom application. And so we are going to be working through the quirks of it all this evening. So please bear with us just a little bit. All right, so this evening we will have a brief presentation on the proposed changes to our polling districts. We have our registrars of voters here with us, Teresa Avey and Marie Fox. They're going to do a presentation, and then following the presentation, we will open up the floor for public comment. And what I believe we're going to do is, if there are any questions from the public, we will collect those questions this evening and then present the answers to those at tomorrow night's meeting so that everybody has a chance to get the correct answers and make sure we have our information as detailed as we can for those that are asking questions. All right, I will turn it over to Ms. Avey and Ms. Fox for their presentation. I just did want to mention also for the public that the maps that will be reviewed this evening, they'll be put up on the screen. They have been up on display at the Senior Center, the library, the Mortensen Community Center, and outside the Registrar of Voters office for the public to be able to come in and take a look at them. And they are still up. And if anyone wants to come and view them more closely before tomorrow night's evening, but tomorrow night's town council meeting, you certainly are welcome to do so. All right, ladies, it's yours.
Good evening and thank you. Our presentation tonight, the 2020 census has been completed, and based on the information, the town has been redistricted to only having 2 state assembly districts, the 20th and the 27th. We will remain in the 9th state senate district. The new state assembly districts were done by the reapportionment committee, which consists of equal members of Democrats and Republicans. Districts 3, 7, and 4 are staying the same. Because of reapportionment, 830 voters are being moved from District 1 to District 6. The south side of Robbins Avenue from Maple Hill Avenue to Willard Avenue, the east side of Maple Hill Avenue from Robbins Avenue to New Britain Avenue, the north side of New Britain Avenue from Willard Avenue to Maple Hill, west side of Willard from Robbins Avenue to New Britain Avenue, and the other streets that are affected are Vivian Street, Ridgeway Street, Johnson Street, Stewart Street, Frederick Street, Theodore Street, Homecrest Street, Broadview Street, Hillside Street, Bayberry Road, Partridge Drive, Pleasant Road, Lawrence Lane, and Harris Drive. Also with reapportionment, 919 voters are being moved from District 5 to District 6. The south side of New Britain Avenue from Church to Willard, west side of Willard from New Britain Avenue to Richard Street, north side of Church Street from Richard Street to Stonehenge, and north side of Stonehenge. The streets that are also affected are Old Hatchery Lane, Fleetwood Road, Strawberry Lane, Cornish Drive, Lincoln Road, Fox Lane, Turkey Hill Road, Halloran Drive, Robin Brook Drive, Faith Court, Faith Road, Fitster Drive, Alston Road, Rockhole Lane, Winslow Drive, and Pickens Drive. We are also swapping parts of District 1 to District 2 and parts of District 2 to District 1 due to the fact that we're lowering the number of voters and streamlining the districts. So there's 425 voters from District 1 going to District 2. The south side of Robbins Avenue from Willard to Main Street, west side of Main Street from Robbins Ave to Glenview Drive, east side of Willard Avenue from Glenview to Robbins Avenue, north side of Glenview Drive. The other streets that are affected with this swap are Clifford Street, Coles Avenue, Florence Street, Valentine Road, Valentine Circle, Parker Street, Linwood Avenue, Basswood Street, Lawton Avenue. We are also swapping 885 voters from District 2 to District 1. The north side of Robbins from Main Street to the Berlin Turnpike, east side of Main Street from Robbins Avenue to Northwood Road. The streets that are affected for this would be Northwood Road, Centerwood, and Southwood. Gooddale Drive, Cheney Lane, Lydell Road, Longview Drive, Robbins Extension, Wakely Road, Ivy Lane, Urban Lane, Forester Drive, Cedarwood Lane, and the Berlin Turnpike. Like I said earlier, the reason for this swapping is to streamline the districts, having one street be the dividing for districts 1 and 2, lowering the number of voters in each district, and that will help the parking issue at both the Mortensen Community Center and Chafee, which have historically been a chronic complaint from our voters. We will also be utilizing greeters at the polling locations to make sure voters are at the correct location, as in years past, the poll workers will continue to carpool, get dropped off, and park further from the polling locations to accommodate the voters. We are also proposing that a standalone referendum and/or town committee primaries be held at one location that's determined by the registrar of voters per section 7-9C warning of the general statute, and which will be town hall for these standalone referendums or town committee primaries. We will also be notifying voters by mail per state statute to let them know of their polling locations have changed and if their state assembly districts have also changed. We will also send out a second mailer closer to the November 8th, 2022 election. We'll also be utilizing our Facebook page, newsflash, websites to alert people of the new voting districts. We also have the support from Superintendent DeMayo of Parks and Rec that we can utilize any of their events to promote our new voting districts, and Superintendent Dr. Brummett has said we can utilize school grounds for changes, school grounds for signs to help promote the changes. And the Chamber of Commerce has also said we can have a booth at their Waterfall Festival. I would like to take a moment to say that this was all four of us in the registrar's office did come up with this proposal. We are a team, and it was based on what was the best for the town, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davy. Ms. Fox, did you want to add anything? Are you good with the presentation?
I didn't hear your last question.
Did you want to add anything? I just wanted to give you an opportunity.
It was a group effort, and we tried for every voter. We're going to try to make it as easy as possible. We thank them for giving them their opinion. We really appreciate that. We took those opinions, and that's how we come up with this. The only thing I wish that 5 and 6, they put more parking spaces at 6, so we wouldn't have to confuse anybody. You wouldn't have to move anybody. But putting more parking at 6 would help a lot, that we wouldn't have to change them. That's the only thing, but it is a group effort. Like Mrs. Avey said, the publicity we're sending out to get people to aware that what's changed in their area, that someone has been affected and then some haven't. But to let them know that they can call, they can look at everything. They'll be at the girls will be at the extravaganza with a big booth all day with the signs. Of course, I can't be used to love that book. But no, it was a group effort, and I want people to know it takes time. It just doesn't come up overnight. When they sent it out late in January, the plan. So we were in a pinch to get it out as quickly, because we have a time also what people don't understand, but we have to have it in by. Because a lot of times go out right away. So thank you.
Thank you both for the presentation, and the council did hear this presentation at our last meeting. We are anticipating taking action possibly at our meeting tomorrow evening. So we want to make sure that we have an opportunity to hear from all of the public that would like to have input. Obviously, this is the public hearing, so we'll open up the mics tonight for questions, but public would have an opportunity during public participation tomorrow. If there were any more questions or concerns that wanted to be brought forward to the council, they could do that tomorrow night also. So with that being said, I think we'll move into the public portion of the meeting. And we have, sorry, James, I don't have access to.
That's right. I did not make sure.
Bear with us for 1 second. I'm going to be a co-host soon, and then I'll be able to open it up. All right, there we go. So the first participant is Neil J. Ryan. Mr. Ryan, are you there?
I am here.
Great. If you could just state your name and address for the record, and then you have your 3 minutes.
Gladly. Neil J. Ryan, 237 Brockett Street, the heart of Newington. First of all, I want to thank the town council and the registrars of voters for basically coming to their senses and proposing 7 districts with 7 voting locations, which is pretty much where we were back when this process started with respect to them voting districts, which almost makes you wonder what the purpose of this exercise was. I really wondered that. To me, I think it was just a waste of time, money, and manpower. But be that as it may, I have a couple of questions. The former District 8, the voters in District 8, where are they being moved to? Does anyone know?
So, Mr. Ryan, I don't know if you heard us. We're going to take these questions and we will formulate the answers and give them either later tonight or tomorrow at our meeting.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. One final question. Well, I'll throw it out there. Let's see. Yeah. During her presentation, Terry mentioned the standalone referendum proposal, and I didn't see that on the public hearing notice. It just had mention of the 7 voting districts. And I wanted to know if that standalone referendum proposal is being considered tonight too. Because I don't think it's on the public notice. And I personally think it's a terrible idea, the standalone referendum. I personally thought it might have been put on hold. And so that would be a question I have, just what is the status of the standalone referendum proposal? Those are my questions.
Okay, are you all set then?
Any feedback we appreciate. Yes, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Let's see, we have Miss Lyons next.
Hi, Rose.
Whoa. Rose, I think you got muted again. Can you, there you go.
You're playing games with me, James. Rose Lyons, 46 Elton Drive,
He's messing with her.
Newington, Connecticut, I think. I had told James and Teresa earlier I had no questions, but I just do want some clarification. I, like Mr. Ryan, don't understand why the standalone referendum proposal for one polling place is being mentioned tonight. I know it was mentioned before. It was my understanding that the authority for the registrars to designate one polling place for standalone referendum or a Republican or Democratic primary is given to them by state statute. I think it's confusing the matter, and myself, I have questions now as to why it's being mentioned. So maybe tomorrow night you can clarify whether or not you need to have town council approval for that, or if they can do it on their own and have always been able to do it on their own, just have not chosen to do so. Thank you, and thank you for your work.
Thank you, Ms. Lyons.
That's it.
All right, next we have Miss Sue Mazzacoli.
Hi, Sue Mazzacoli, 149 Harris Drive, Newington, Connecticut.
Welcome.
Thank you. I just wanted to let you know that I'm watching on my iPad so I can see public participation limit 3 minutes, that section. I'm also looking at it on my TV, which is channel 16, 6050, and I could see one counselor and I could see the public participation, and then I see a little black square. So I don't see any of you, even though I know that you're there at the council chambers. I'm hoping at some point that can change. I would love to come to a meeting and be there in person, but sometimes that's just not possible. This is very convenient for me, especially if it's a bad weather. So I just wanted to let you know that it would be nice if you could somehow set it up that I could see your faces too. The other thing, as far as tonight's subject, I'm very happy that we're at the choice of the two choices that you list on the charts, and I'm unhappy that I'm no longer going to be part of the 27th, but that's not going to happen real soon. But that's a little something that our town doesn't really participate in. That's our state government. But thank you for taking the time to listen.
Thank you, Ms. Mazzacoli. All right, next is Representative Gary Turco. Whoop. Gary, you're muted. Can you unmute?
I believe I'm unmuted now. Can
Yes,
you hear
you
me?
are. Go right ahead.
Okay, thank you for that. I was talking to myself there for a minute. Hi, I'm State Representative Gary Turco, 98 Williamstown Court, Newington. Hello, Mayor. Hello, Town Councilors and our Town Clerk and Register of Voters. I want to first thank the Register of Voters for their hard work in revising this proposal many, many times now. I know it's been stressful for you all, as you've heard the feedback from me, other elected officials, and from the public on what we wanted to see with our polling places. And I really appreciate you all listening to the concerns from people, from reducing the polling places from 7 to 3, taking a look at why the public thought that was a bad idea, why I felt that would reduce access and increase confusion and make it more difficult with traffic and parking, and coming up with a revised plan that keeps all 7 polling places and realigns the districts in ways that you need it. And as our Democratic Register of Voters, Marie Fox mentioned, I wish too we didn't have to switch Districts 5 and District 6 because that's a complete flip-flop. But I trust your discretion there that the parking situation caused that to have to be done. And then also some of the other roads within the districts that needed to switch from one district to the other. I trust again that's being done to even out the individual polling districts and make it easier for everyone. So again, I just want to thank you for your efforts. I know that this was contentious at times. Sometimes in democracy, it is contentious, right? Like we disagree on things and we battle. But this is why this country is so great. This is why we have to do everything to protect our democracy, because we battle with words, right? We put words in the paper. We testify at public hearings. We disagree within the town with neighbors with words. And we see what's happening with Russia and other parts of the world where they pick up guns and fight when they disagree. So I'm proud to be in this country, in this state, where we can work these things out in the democratic process. Lastly, I just want to say that I heard tonight and I've heard previously there's going to be a big education effort, and that's going to be through the mail and at events. And I certainly want to help with that as well, to make sure that all of the voters in Newington understand if their voting place may have changed or they're going to have a new state representative district, that they understand that, and that coming election day, there's little to no confusion with those changes. So I offer my services, my email blast, my social media, public forum to get the word out to everyone as well. So thanks, everybody. This is a great success story in the end of us coming together, even though we started far apart, and doing what's best for the whole town and its residents. And I appreciate everyone's time for me to express that tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, if there's any members of the public here that would like to speak, they're welcome to come up. I'm just looking in our attendees window again. I don't see anyone with their hand raised, so we'll give it just another second. Are there any questions you wanted to address tonight, or are we going to wait and do all tomorrow night? I can address like the referendum question. I know Mr. Ryan had asked about the standalone referendum and why it wasn't on the posting. This posting is and public hearing and action are taken only on the proposed polling change, location changes. The referendum piece is by statute that the registrars are allowed to determine how they handle a referendum. So the council has the ability to set the referendum date, but the registrars of voters are responsible by statute to determine where the referendum voting will take place. That has nothing to do with the council. And so there's no action being taken by this council on that. I believe in just an effort of full disclosure, the registrars included that in their presentation to be forthcoming to the public to know the full scope of what they were thinking for changes. But the only thing on the table for this public hearing and for action by the council is the change in polling locations. The other question that Mr. Ryan asked was, why was this done to begin with? And that was what sparked this was the state reapportionment, which caused our registrars to have to look at redistricting our districts locally to fit into the new reapportionment for the General Assembly districts. And they did so and brought forward some other minor changes as well that were incorporated into the presentation this evening.
There's only one other question, Mr. Mayor, that Mr. Ryan asked, so you don't have to flop it over tomorrow. He wanted to know where the people that were in District 8 went, what they were going to District 6.
Five.
Five. But they're-
So Mr. Ryan, the voters from District 8 will be voting in District 5 now. That's where that shifted to, which 5 and 8 always voted together at Patterson. I always get it mixed up, Wallace and Patterson. At Wallace.
Voting at Patterson.
And those folks will be voting at Patterson now with the change. Right. So I think we addressed all of the questions that were asked this evening, so we should be good, and we can certainly review those tomorrow evening as well if we
Yeah,
need
for
to.
sure, certainly.
Okay. All right, we do have one more hand up. I'm sorry, before we close the hearing, I'm gonna let this person have her chance as well. Ms. Schiller, if you're there, just state your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Ellen Schiller. I live at 84 Settlers Knoll, and I'm here this evening to voice my opinion about the amendments to the voting districts in the town of Newington. I feel that the town should keep as many of the districts as possible, especially the 7.
Bless you.
For several reasons. First of all, the new homes and apartment construction going on in town, right from now and for the foreseeable future. The population of the town is bound to rise because of this. This equals more voters and more of everything, but especially more voters. Second, the increase in the town voting population may or may not cause problems at the polls, including increased traffic, parking problems, long lines, and the like. The town should make this process as easy and as comfortable as possible for Newington citizens. This is the citizens of the town are the ones that elect you into office and you represent. I also feel that the voting districts should be in place for every election, town primary, and referendum for the same reason as I previously mentioned. This would avoid the confusion of everyone in town showing up at town hall or not knowing where to go to vote for the referendum or the primary. Please also remember that you hold your positions on this council only because you are elected to represent the citizens of this town and not just yourselves and your party and your party. Also, please remember the citizens of Newington have long memories and will remember this at the voting booth. What is of the problems that we've had with getting this settled. So thank you. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Schiller. Okay, last call for public participation. I don't see any other hands up. If there's anyone here in the room that would like to come up, you're more than welcome to come forward to the table. I don't see any other hands up, so.
I know he did stop in this.
Pardon?
No, he did stop this afternoon. He didn't want to.
If there's anyone in the audience that would like to come up, you're welcome to.
I already voiced my opinion.
Okay.
If you know where to stand.
Okay. I think we're all set. There is no one else in public participation. So we will, I can just call, we don't need to, right. Because it's a public hearing, I can just say that we are adjourned at 7:29. We stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.